Ladies and gentlemen, life is a game of value, and in every relationship, in every interaction, you're either an asset or an afterthought. Too often we chase, we beg, we plead for someone to recognize our worth. But let me tell you something, value is not demanded, value is demonstrated. So if she walked away, if she took you for granted, if she thought you'd always be there no matter how she treated you, then it's time to make her feel the pain of losing you. Not through anger, not through revenge, but through transformation. When someone walks away from you, especially someone you cared about deeply, the natural instinct is to wonder what went wrong, to analyze every moment, every word, and every mistake. But here's the truth. You don't win by looking back. You don't regain power by staying stuck in the past. The only way to make her feel the pain of losing you is to become the man she regrets leaving. Not by chasing her, not by trying to convince her, but by transforming yourself into someone she wishes she had never let go. This isn't about playing games or seeking revenge. It's about elevation. It's about becoming the man who is so focused on his growth, his purpose, and his potential that losing you becomes her greatest regret. Because here's what happens. When you stop chasing, when you stop seeking validation, and when you put all that energy into yourself, everything shifts. You rise, you evolve, and suddenly the tables turn. The first step in this transformation is discipline. You must commit to building a life so fulfilling that you don't have time to dwell on the past. Hit the gym, sharpen your mind, master your craft. Every morning, wake up with a mission to be better than you were yesterday. Growth is magnetic. Confidence is irresistible, and when you start showing up as the strongest, most refined version of yourself, people take notice. She takes notice. Elevate your standards. Too often we settle for treatment that is beneath us because we are afraid of losing someone. But once you realize your worth, you won't tolerate anything less than respect, appreciation, and loyalty. You won't beg for love. You won't plead for attention. Instead, you'll become a man who naturally attracts high-value relationships because you yourself are high value. And let me tell you, nothing stings more than seeing someone you once took for granted now living a life you can no longer access. Then expand your world. When a relationship ends, many people shrink. They isolate themselves. They replay memories. They dwell in sadness. But that is the wrong move. Instead, go bigger. Travel to new places, meet new people, dive into new experiences. When she sees that losing you didn't break you, but instead sets you free, that's when regret starts creeping in. Embody emotional control. The strongest man is the one who remains unshaken. No desperate texts, no emotional outbursts, no signs of weakness. When she looks back, she won't remember you as the man who begged her to stay. She'll remember you as the man who walked away with his head held high and built a life she now wishes she were still part of. Because here's the truth. When you become a man of undeniable value, the past starts looking at you differently. She will feel the loss. She will feel the weight of her decision. And by then, you'll be too busy winning to care. There's a powerful shift that happens when you remove yourself from a situation where you were once overly available, overly giving, or overly invested. Most people don't appreciate what they have until it's gone. And the biggest mistake you can make after a breakup, after being taken for granted, or after being disrespected, is to stay in the same pattern that led you there in the first place. If she expected you to always be there, always be an option, always answer, always chase, then the most effective way to make her feel the pain of losing you is to disappear and break that pattern entirely. Disappearing doesn't mean announcing it. It doesn't mean sending one last emotional message, hoping she'll understand how much she hurt you. No, true disappearance is silent. It's powerful because it forces the other person to sit with the absence, to feel the void, to wonder. And when someone wonders, they start questioning. They start remembering. They start realizing. Breaking the pattern means disrupting everything she was used to. If she was used to you checking in, stop. If she was used to you responding quickly, delay, or don't respond at all. If she was used to you always being the first to reach out, go completely silent. This isn't about being petty. It's about creating space for her to feel the consequences of her actions, space for her to recognize what life is like without you in it. Because as long as you remain predictable, As long as you continue the same behaviors she expects, there is no loss. There is no absence. And without absence, there is no reflection. The moment you step back and remove your presence, you take back control. You shift from being the person seeking validation to being the one who no longer needs it. And that shift is powerful. It's not just about making her notice. It's about reclaiming your own power, your own self-respect, and your own life. This is when regret begins to build. Because people don't regret losing something they still have access to. They regret what they can no longer reach. They regret what is no longer within their grasp. And when you disappear, truly disappear, it forces them to see the difference between having you in their life and not having you at all. But here's the key. You don't disappear just to get a reaction. You disappear because it's necessary for your growth. You break the pattern because the old pattern no longer serves you. And whether she realizes her mistake or not, whether she reaches out or not, by the time she does, if she does, you will have already leveled up to the point where her validation is no longer needed. That is the ultimate power, the power of walking away, of breaking the cycle, of no longer playing the same role. And when you do that, when you truly remove yourself and focus on your own growth, you don't just make her feel the pain of losing you, you make her wish she had never lost you in the first place. The greatest mistake a man can make after a breakup, after being taken for granted, or after being undervalued is to sit around waiting for someone to come back, waiting for closure, or waiting for an apology that may never come. But the truth is, you don't move forward by waiting, you move forward by building. And not just any life, but a life so exciting, so fulfilling, and so full of purpose that you wake up every day with a fire in your soul. A life that makes you forget about the past because you're too busy creating a future that energizes you. When you build a life that excites you, something powerful happens. First, you shift your focus from what was lost to what is possible. Instead of dwelling on the past, you start setting goals, you start exploring new passions, and you start saying yes to experiences that push you forward. And as you grow, you begin to realize something important. Your happiness was never meant to depend on another person. It was always meant to be built by you for you. This isn't about distractions. It's not about filling the void with meaningless activities. It's about crafting a lifestyle that brings you genuine joy, fulfillment, and excitement. Maybe that means diving into fitness, pushing your body to new levels, feeling stronger, healthier, and more confident than ever before. Maybe that means starting that business you always talked about, stepping into your purpose, and building something that gives you financial and personal freedom. Maybe it means traveling, meeting new people, and exposing yourself to experiences that remind you how big the world truly is. And here's the beautiful part. When you build a life that excites you, people take notice. Energy is magnetic. A man who is focused, driven, and passionate about his life naturally draws attention. He doesn't chase, he attracts. And when she sees you living fully, when she sees you glowing with confidence, ambition, and purpose, that's when the realization starts to hit. That's when regret starts creeping in. Because nothing is more painful than realizing the person you left behind didn't fall apart, they leveled up. But here's the key. You don't build this life to prove a point. You don't do it for her. You do it for you. You do it because you deserve a life that excites you, a life that makes you proud, a life that feels like an adventure rather than a routine. And when you commit to that journey, when you truly embrace the idea that your best days are ahead of you, not behind you, you stop worrying about who stayed and who left. Because at that point, it's no longer about whether she regrets losing you, it's about whether you even care anymore. And that right there is the moment you win. The people you surround yourself with will either elevate you or drain you. They will either push you toward greatness or keep you stuck in cycles of mediocrity. After a breakup, after being taken for granted, after feeling undervalued, the worst thing you can do is isolate yourself or keep yourself in the same environment that contributed to your pain. The smartest move you can make is to intentionally surround yourself with high-value people. People who inspire you, challenge you, and remind you of your worth. Because when you upgrade your circle, you upgrade your mindset. And when you upgrade your mindset, you upgrade your entire life. High-value people don't let you dwell on the past. They don't let you sit in self-pity. replaying memories of what went wrong. They hold you accountable. They push you forward. They remind you of your potential and refuse to let you settle for less than what you deserve. When you spend time with individuals who are disciplined, driven, and confident, their energy becomes contagious. You start adopting their habits, their mindset, and their standards. You start realizing that the breakup wasn't a loss. It was a redirection, a wake-up call, a chance to level up in every aspect of your life. This is why you need to be intentional about who you allow into your space. You need to ask yourself, are the people around me helping me grow, or are they holding me back? Are they pushing me toward my goals, or are they keeping me stuck in the past? If your circle consists of people who complain, make excuses, and engage in self-destructive habits, that energy will rub off on you. But if you surround yourself with people who are ambitious, self-respecting, and constantly improving, you'll naturally begin to do the same. One of the biggest shifts happens when you start spending time with winners. These are the people who are not just talking about success, but actively living it. They are in the gym every morning, working on their health. They are investing in themselves, building businesses, and mastering their craft. They are learning, growing, and moving with purpose. And when you immerse yourself in that environment, you no longer have time to think about the past. You become too focused on building the future. Something incredible happens when you surround yourself with high-value people. You begin to redefine what you tolerate. You no longer accept disrespect, inconsistency, or mediocrity because you see firsthand what high standards look like. And that realization is powerful, because once you experience life surrounded by people who uplift you, settling for anything less becomes impossible. This is where real transformation happens. Not in isolation, not in bitterness, but in elevation. When she looks back and sees you thriving, surrounded by people who match your energy and ambition, that's when regret sets in. That's when she realizes she lost someone who refused to stay stagnant. But by then you'll be too busy winning to even notice. The truth is, you don't make her feel the pain of losing you by trying to prove anything. You don't do it through words, through bitterness, or through seeking revenge. You do it by becoming undeniable, by leveling up in every way, physically, mentally, emotionally, and financially, until the version of you she once knew is unrecognizable. When you disappear and break the pattern, she feels the absence. When you build a life that excites you, she sees what she walked away from. When you surround yourself with high-value people, you raise your standards so high that going back is no longer an option. And when you become the man she regrets leaving, you don't just make her feel the loss, you make yourself immune to caring about it. By the time she realizes what she had, you will have already moved on to something greater. And that right there is the ultimate victory.